Hello, today is Friday, August 14th, 2020, and today is our last section of our notes today. Yesterday we talked about VR, vocational rehabilitation, or voc rehab for short, and the services that they can help provide for you once you exit high school and are trying to obtain employment with a paid job. Once you get a job, VR will provide, if necessary, a job coach for you. A job coach is someone who goes to the job with you to help you learn all the tasks you are responsible for in your job. They will fade their support until you can do the job independently. They might teach you how to ask for help or the tasks of the job or all of those different types of things. Once you are independent on the job, your job coach will no longer attend work with you, and then they'll close your case. But now you are working independently on your job, and that's a great thing to be doing, is doing a job all by yourself, and having that paycheck come in is just so rewarding. Important things to know about working. Now there's really a long list, but I just have a short list here of just summarizing everything. You need to know how to get along with others, and that's a very broad statement. You need to know how to ask for help, ask questions, to be appropriate socially, because sometimes at work you want to be more professional and there's certain things you want to share and not share, and you definitely have to have a willingness to work. If you go to work every day and you're like, I don't want to be here, I want to go home, and you just don't want to be working, that is just, there's other people that might want that job if you're not interested in coming every day and working hard. The other thing that you should know about is the Americans with Disabilities Act law. That gives you some protection, a little bit of protection on the job, and helps with minimizing discrimination due to your disability. The Americans with Disabilities Act, it prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in employment, transportation, public accommodation, communication, and governmental activities. The ADA, that's for short, also establishes requirements for telecommunications relay system services. That's for people that might be hard of hearing, that type of thing, or maybe perhaps deaf. Maybe that's what I just said, I don't know. Meaning the ADA means that your employer needs to provide you with reasonable accommodations to complete your job. This went into place in 1990, but is an extension of other laws protecting people with disabilities and civil rights.
Everyone needs the right tools to perform a job. Chairs for employees who work at desks. Needs the right tools to perform a job. Chairs for employees who work at desks, ladders for roofers who need to get on top of a house, even lunch breaks for people who need food to get through the day, like we all do. It makes good business sense to have a workplace that accommodates everyone's needs. And laws like the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, and the Rehabilitation Act are there to make sure workers with disabilities are accommodated too. So, what kind of accommodations are we talking about? Special privileges for special people, right? Gold-plated hover chairs? Trained seeing eye unicorns? Not even close. Turns out employees with disabilities aren't particularly special, and neither are the accommodations they need to do their jobs. In fact, they're pretty reasonable. Literally, it's why the ADA calls them reasonable accommodations. An accommodation is any change in the environment or in the way things are done that enables an individual with a disability to enjoy equal opportunities to work. Miguel works as an office assistant, and his low vision makes using a computer monitor difficult. So his employer provided screen reading software that reads aloud on-screen text and image descriptions. That's a reasonable accommodation. June is a bookkeeper who experienced a traumatic brain injury. Concentrating for long periods of time is exhausting for her. So instead of taking one long break, her employer allows her to take several short breaks. That's a reasonable accommodation. And according to the Job Accommodation Network, JAN, the majority of workplace accommodations, 59%, cost absolutely nothing. But if there is an expense, there are tax credits and other incentives out there to support businesses in creating a more accessible workplace. So how do you go about getting a reasonable accommodation? You're the expert on what you need. So if you need something, ask for it. Step 1, research simple solutions. While you may be the only employee at your job with your disability, odds are that someone somewhere has a solution you're looking for. Resources like JAN have whole catalogs of useful real-life solutions to learn from. Step 2, notify your employer. Notifying your employer of your need for an accommodation starts the process, whether you speak with them or send them an email. You may need to provide a medical letter or other documentation if requested. You do not need to tell your employer everything about your disability, just how it might affect your job duties. Step 3, negotiate. Finding the right accommodation is not a one-step process. It's an interactive back and forth conversation. Your employer may propose a different accommodation than the one you suggested. Consider whether their idea would be effective, or make another suggestion. And you may need to propose more than one accommodation before finding the one that works for everyone. Step 4, approach a higher level colleague. If your employer rejects your requested accommodation without making an alternative offer, or if your employer refuses to discuss your request, communicate your request to a higher level individual, like your supervisor's manager or the HR department. It is a good idea to keep notes about who you spoke with and the date. If all else fails, there's step 5, file a claim. If you're not getting anywhere with the higher-ups, there are agencies that can help. Filing a claim involves a lot of paperwork and sometimes short deadlines, so it's important to move quickly. No matter what steps you take, always remember that asking for reasonable accommodations is not about getting special favors. It's about getting what you need to get your job done.
So now that we have reviewed some things for transition and Voc Rehab and Americans with Disabilities Act, we're going to fill out some notes for our topic. And if you have any questions or concerns, please email me or give me a call here at the school. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.